Sometimes the most difficult relationship to leave is not the worst one. It is the one that is almost right. There is tenderness, history, private jokes, a person who holds you when life hurts and still makes you laugh in the grocery store. There is also one promise that never becomes a plan. They will become more available after work settles down. They will be ready to commit when they feel safer. They will address the problem when the timing is better. You are not staying only because of who they are. You are staying because you can see who they might become. And every good weekend feels like a preview of the future you have been waiting for. But how long can you build a life with someone who exists mainly in tomorrow? Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is WiseMind Stories. At 4:17 on a Friday afternoon, Elena Park stood alone in an empty apartment, holding two unsigned rental applications. The living room had tall windows, a small fireplace, and enough space for the dining table Ryan had promised to build. The real estate agent was waiting near the door. Ryan was 27 minutes late. Elena called him. No answer. Then a message arrived. I'm sorry. I renewed my apartment this morning. I know we talked about moving in, but I can't do it yet. Elena read the message twice. The agent asked whether they needed another minute. Elena placed the applications on the kitchen counter. No, she said. We're not taking it. 6 weeks earlier, Elena had given notice on her own apartment. In 14 days, she would have nowhere to live. Ryan and Elena had been together for 4 years. Their relationship did not look obviously broken. Ryan was warm, funny, and attentive in ways Elena had never experienced before. When her mother had surgery, he brought dinner to the hospital for 8 nights. He remembered the names of Elena's co-workers. He could tell from the way she closed a cabinet whether she was worried or angry. He loved her. Elena did not doubt that. The problem was the future. Elena wanted to share a home, marry, and try to have children. Ryan said he wanted a life with her, but he was uncertain about marriage and did not know whether he wanted to be a parent. Their conversations followed a believable timeline. At the end of the first year, Ryan said it was too early to discuss living together. Elena agreed. During the second year, he changed jobs and asked to wait until his income felt stable. That seemed responsible. In the third year, Elena asked whether children were part of the future he imagined. Ryan said he loved the idea of a family with her, but could not promise he would ever feel ready. Elena heard the love more clearly than the uncertainty. By the fourth year, they had discussed neighborhoods, furniture, and how to divide rent. Ryan joined her for 2 apartment viewings. He measured one wall for a dining table. None of those actions were meaningless. They were also not a decision. Elena kept combining moments of participation until they looked like a commitment Ryan had never fully made. At first, Elena appreciated his honesty. She translated, "I don't know," into "not yet." Ryan had grown up watching his parents fight through a bitter divorce. Of course, commitment frightened him. His career was unstable. Of course, he wanted to feel secure first. He had never lived with a partner. Of course, he needed time. Each explanation was compassionate. Together, they created a future Ryan had never actually chosen. After the apartment message, Elena stayed with her cousin Talia. Her clothes remained in cardboard boxes along one wall of the guest room. Every morning, she drove 30 minutes farther to work. Every evening, Ryan called. He apologized for waiting until the day of the showing to tell her. "I panicked," he said. "This doesn't mean I don't love you." "Then what does it mean?" "It means I need more time." "How much?" Ryan could not answer. Elena did not end the relationship. Instead, she began another improvement project. She found a podcast about commitment. She sent Ryan an article about children of divorce. She suggested couples counseling and created a shared budget showing that living together would save money. Ryan agreed to one counseling session, then said the therapist made him feel pressured. Elena tried to be less demanding. For 3 weeks, she did not mention the future. She praised Ryan when he spoke about next summer. She treated every small reference to us as evidence that his fear was weakening. Then she saw an advertisement for a concert 10 months away. "Should we get tickets?" she asked. Ryan hesitated. It lasted only a second. Elena felt the entire relationship inside it. "Why do you need to think about everything that involves a future with me? Why does every decision have to prove something?" he asked. They argued for an hour. Ryan said Elena was turning love into a deadline. Elena said Ryan wanted the comfort of commitment without making one. Both statements contained truth. Neither could solve the deeper incompatibility. This is how people fall in love with potential. They do not invent a completely imaginary person. They take real qualities, kindness, chemistry, intelligence, one brave conversation, and extend them into a future the other person has not committed to building. Potential is persuasive because it is made from genuine evidence. The mistake is treating possibility as a promise. Elena's friends had opinions. Some told her to leave immediately. Others said every relationship required patience and compromise. Talia asked a different question. If Ryan were exactly the same 3 years from now, would you knowingly choose this relationship? Elena answered too quickly. He won't be exactly the same. Talia waited. Elena looked around the guest room. Her future home was in boxes because she had made a major decision based on a step Ryan had not taken. That wasn't the question, Talia said. Elena began to cry. She had spent years asking whether Ryan might eventually choose the life she wanted. She had never asked whether she could choose the relationship he was offering now. She also began to understand why the question frightened her. If Ryan were a bad partner, leaving would be easier to explain. But he had been present through illness, grief, and ordinary difficult days. Ending a loving relationship over an uncertain future felt selfish to Elena. Then Talia asked, would it be less selfish to stay and spend the next 3 years resenting him for being honest? Elena knew what resentment had already begun to do. She monitored Ryan's language. She treated hesitation as failure and affection as progress. She could no longer enjoy a good day without asking what it predicted. The future was consuming the relationship they actually had. Love and compatibility are not the same question. Love asks, do we care deeply for each other? Compatibility asks, can the lives we each genuinely want be built together? Two people can answer yes to the first and no to the second. That does not make the love false. It makes the decision painful. This is where the final application of let them begins. Let them. Let Ryan be uncertain about marriage. Let him not want children or not know whether he wants them. Let him need a separate home. Let his repeated hesitation mean what it means today, without translating it into a future yes. Let him love Elena and still be unable to offer the relationship she wanted. Elena had treated Ryan's uncertainty as a problem she could solve with enough patience and emotional intelligence, but accepting him meant ending the private campaign to convert him into her compatible partner. Acceptance did not tell Elena whether to stay or leave. It removed the imaginary version of Ryan from the decision. Then came the final let me. Let me define what is important before loneliness negotiates it away. Let me distinguish a preference from a deal breaker. Let me ask directly and listen to the answer contained in both words and repeated action. Let me stop demanding that another person surrender their truth so I can keep my dream. Let me choose the relationship that exists. Elena wrote 4 words at the top of a page: present, promise, price, choice. Under present, she described the relationship without predictions. Ryan loved her. He had maintained his own home. He remained uncertain about marriage and children. After 4 years, conversations about a shared future produced pressure, fear, and retreat. Under promise, she listed the future keeping her invested. Ryan would feel safe. They would marry. He would discover that he wanted to be a father. Their tenderness would become a shared life. Then she asked which parts of that promise were supported by consistent action. Very few. Under price, Elena wrote what waiting required. She was postponing decisions about family, housing, and the kind of partnership she wanted. She was becoming resentful toward Ryan for failing to fulfill promises he had not clearly made. The price was not only time, it was the version of herself she became while trying to persuade him. Under choice, she wrote one question: if nothing changes, do I choose this? The answer was no. Elena met Ryan at the park where they had spent their first date. She did not bring the page. I want a partner who is actively choosing a shared home, marriage, and the possibility of children, she said. Not eventually. As the direction of our life now. Ryan looked frightened. Are you asking me to propose? No. I'm asking whether you genuinely choose that direction. Ryan was silent for a long time. I love you, he said, but I can't promise that. There was the answer. Not hidden, not cruel, not incomplete. Elena ended the relationship. Ryan cried. Elena cried. He told her that leaving proved she cared more about a plan than about him. For a moment, she wondered if he was right. Then she understood that staying would require Ryan to become someone else, or Elena to abandon something central to the life she wanted. Neither was love. The following weekend, Ryan brought 2 boxes of Elena's belongings to Talia's house. They sat in his car for almost an hour. Ryan said he could imagine moving in together someday. Elena said she could wait another 6 months if they chose a date. Ryan asked why love needed a schedule. Elena asked why every shared step had to remain imaginary. For a few minutes, they began constructing another compromise. Neither one believed. Then Elena asked, are you agreeing because this is the life you want, or because you want tonight not to hurt? Ryan looked down at the steering wheel. I don't know. Elena took the boxes and went inside. Ending the relationship was not one brave decision. It was a decision she had to stop renegotiating each time grief made the old fantasy feel possible again. The breakup did not feel powerful. Elena spent 6 weeks in Talia's guest room before finding a smaller apartment she could afford alone. She missed Ryan in ordinary moments: the grocery store, Sunday mornings, the first cold evening of the year. 4 months later, he called. I've been thinking, he said. I know I can do better. The old hope returned immediately. Elena wanted to ask whether he missed her. She wanted to turn effort into a promise again. Instead, she asked, has what you want changed? Ryan was quiet. I don't know, he said. I just know I don't want to lose you. Elena closed her eyes. I don't want to lose you either, she said. But missing each other does not make our futures compatible. They did not get back together. 6 months after the breakup, Elena had not met the perfect partner. There was no final scene where a better man appeared and confirmed that she had made the correct choice. She still had lonely Sundays. What she no longer had was the daily work of converting uncertainty into hope. Peace did not arrive as happiness. At first, it arrived as the absence of negotiation. Not every difference is a deal breaker. One person may love social events while the other prefers home. One may care about punctuality more than the other. Good relationships require flexibility, repair, and room for two imperfect people. A deal breaker is different. It asks you to surrender a core value, safety, dignity, or future you know you want, in order to remain in the relationship. And if the relationship contains coercive control, threats, stalking, violence, sexual pressure, financial abuse, or fear for your safety, do not use "let them" as a reason to confront the person alone or wait for more evidence. Seek confidential professional support and create a safety plan appropriate to your situation. For relationships without immediate danger, use Elena's 4-part review. Present: who is this person, and what is this relationship? Based on repeated reality. Promise: what imagined future keeps me invested, and what consistent action supports it? Price: what am I surrendering while I wait? Choice: if nothing changes, do I knowingly choose this? That final question returns your life to the present. It is also the question beneath this entire season. Let them make their choices. Let me stop living inside reactions I cannot control. Let them judge. Let me act from evidence and self-respect. Let them gather without me. Let me create connection instead of auditing exclusion. Let friendships change. Let me go first and stop chasing when effort is never returned. Let other people choose whether they are ready. Let me make a clear request and protect what their choices affect. Let them carry the responsibilities that belong to them. Let me support without taking over. Let the person I love reveal who they are. Let me choose what is real. Let them was never the destination. It creates the space where you can finally ask the question that changes your life. Now that I am no longer trying to control them, what will I choose? Complete the 2 sentences for the situation that brought you to this series. Let them. Let me. If one of these 7 stories named a pattern you have been living, return to that episode and use its practical tool. You can continue with the complete Let Them Theory playlist here on WiseMind Stories. Because freedom does not begin when everyone finally becomes who you need them to be. It begins when you stop abandoning yourself while you wait.